Hello, my name is Amanda Dean, and this is my topic on how did COVID-19 impact Bahamians and everyone entrepreneurship for Econ 211, Section 3. In this presentation, the objectives we focus on are: what is COVID-19? What type of state is the Bahamas and its main economic incentive? How has the Bahamas' economic state been in the past 5 years? How has COVID-19 affected the Bahamas? How has entrepreneurship changed in the Bahamas as a result of COVID-19? And lastly, strategies and policies put forward to respond to the effect of COVID-19 on entrepreneurship in the Bahamas. What is COVID-19? Coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Most people infected with the COVID-19 virus will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring special treatment. Older people and those with underlying medical problems like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, and cancer are more likely to develop serious illnesses. What type of state is the Bahamas and what is its main economic incentive? The Bahamas is a democratic nation with its own government, but the Queen is still the head of state. The Bahamas is a Caribbean country which covers almost Lucayan archipelago's 97% land area. 88% of the archipelago's people consider it home. The present inhabitants of the Bahamas in 2021 is 396,913, a 0.93% increase from 2020. The economy of the Bahamas mainly depends on tourism and financial services as the main income sectors of its economy. It is an archipelagic state containing more than 700 islands and keys. How has the Bahamas' economic state been in the past 5 years? The government experienced an extra burden from excessive staffing and operational insufficiencies of state-owned enterprises, SEOs. The fiscal space tightened and the deficit levels progressed from 1% in 2006 to approximately 2.6% by the fiscal year 2016-2017. This accumulated an extra burden of government transfers, building up to 7% of the overall GDP, which costs approximately 30% of the government expenditure. Foreign direct investments has reduced as well, even though liquidity and external reserves have been boosted via proceeds from the government's latest bond issue. The Bahamian dollar is still on par with the US dollar despite our drastic decline in our number one industry, which is tourism. The Central Bank of the Bahamas has external reserves to prevent any shocks. What is the Bahamas' main economic incentive? The economy of the Bahamas mainly depends on tourism and financial services that are the main income sectors of its economy. The Bahamas is the richest country in the West Indies and is ranked 14th in North America for nominal GDP. Tourism alone provides an estimated 51% of the gross domestic product and employs about half the Bahamian workforce. In 2016, over 3 million tourists visited the Bahamas, most of whom are from the United States and Canada. Financial services constitute the second most important sector of the Bahamian economy, accounting up to 17% of GDP due to the country's status as an offshore financial center. Agriculture and fisheries industry together account for 5% of GDP. How has COVID-19 affected the Bahamas? COVID-19 has affected the Bahamas in a way that no one has ever imagined. As a result of COVID-19, many persons had to now become more creative and innovative in order to sustain an income during the pandemic. Many entrepreneurs and storefront businesses had to establish a delivery system that was not always available prior to the pandemic. For example, the Craven app was created for persons to be able to shop to their local food stores, liquor stores, or restaurants to be able to still access the needed essentials for Bahamians. Island Pay was another app installed to assist merchants and consumers. Island Pay is a digital payment platform for both merchants and consumers. Island Pay replaces cash and makes payments easier. COVID-19 has the following consequences on the Bahamas: lack of debt payment, piled up governmental costs, stress amongst the overall population, mental stress to those who lost their jobs, lower GDP levels, and increased governmental payments. The state had suffered as a result of the hurricane before the setting of COVID-19 pandemic. The level of stress in individuals increased. We assume that due to the loss of jobs and uncertainty arising from the pandemic were responsible for the increase. The increase in stress seems to have been driven primarily by employment concerns with both those who were and were not employed. The COVID-19 pandemic has severely challenged the Bahamas. The country's economy relies heavily on tourism, and the closure of borders and restrictions in the movement of people have resulted in a severe slowdown of economic activity. The first case of COVID-19 in the Bahamas was reported during March 2020. Just as every other country, there was an implementation of various restrictive measures in a bid to flatten the curve. These restrictions bore fruits within week 7 since the start of the outbreak. However, these were, inadvertent consequences. Amongst them was the loss of employment, bankruptcy of businesses, and lastly, the pay cut of those that were still employed. In short, the COVID-19 pandemic was not only a source of stress, but came with other worries. How has entrepreneurship changed in the Bahamas as a result of COVID-19? Entrepreneurship has changed due to the restrictions put in place to stop the spread of the virus. It has impacted the normal balance of living along with stable incomes. It has put a mental drain and stress on many persons whose jobs were considered non-essential. But it also gave persons the drive to become more innovative with starting new business ideas. A lot of entrepreneurs' businesses had to close due to no incomes coming in for the months of the pandemic that they were closed. A lot of persons are in the nightlife business, and due to restrictions, they cannot they cannot fulfill their businesses due to being closed at those hours. Entrepreneurship plays a big part in the Bahamas alongside tourism and the banking industry because it's a way for Bahamians to show their creativity, show that they can be their own boss in a sense. And because of COVID, it has made a lot of changes for persons. It has made it harder for some. It has allowed some persons to look within themselves and find their creative passions. Um, and it is a lot of persons are hoping that this pandemic is over so that normal way of life can continue again and they can get back to making their stable incomes and lessening the stress that they more than likely would have on them at the moment. Strategies and policies put forward to respond to the effect of COVID-19 on entrepreneurship in the Bahamas. 1. The Self-Starter Program was established. The government established a self-starter program. It is a government-funded, grant-based program to empower young Bahamian citizens 18 to 30 years seeking to establish or expand small businesses. 2. Allowing more innovative ways for businesses to operate, such as delivery service, for example, Craven. 3. Ensuring all businesses have temperature monitors and sanitized stations. 4. Allowing only a certain number of persons in the business at a time to decrease risk of spread. 5. Curfew was established 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. 6. Travel restrictions. Travel now requires a negative COVID test and a travel visa.